For this project, tool-wise, we're going to need the Regaliz leather cutter, some precision scissors, a 1 gram Fevikwik, the Regaliz leather straps, a Regaliz clasp, and 2 Regaliz ends. We'll also be putting 2 of the Regaliz charms on, and then for the tassels we'll need a large-eyed needle. I'm going to use the metallic beadsmith thread and the size 8 seed beads, which we will need quite a few of in order to create our tassel, or tassels we are making too. So we'll start by actually doing the tassel section first. So you're going to cut 10 80cm lengths of your metallic thread. Take 5 of those for your tassel. So we've got 5 strands at 80cm, and I'm going to half them evenly. I then want to take the threads, all 5, through my Regaliz end. So I'm going to take all of those through the end and then position them so that they're even lengths, so 40cm at either side. What I'm now going to do is take all the strands together and I'm going to loop them over my finger and just slide that loop off. And then I'm going to take these back through the loop and tie a tight knot. A bit fiddly, so have a bit of patience whilst popping the ends through. You can use the wide-eyed needle for this part as well if you wish. So I've now got them all the way through, and I'm just going to work that knot as close as possible to the Regaliz end. I'm just gently teasing the knot up, and now I'm going to take independently each strand and just pull down firmly on it. This way I'm securing that knot and making sure there's no bagging of the threads. So I'm happy that all the threads are firmly on and the knot looks nice and neat. So I'm just going to move the other components to one side, and you're going to start by taking one of the strands independently away from the others. I'm just going to nudge them to one side. If it makes you feel happier, place a piece of sellotape on the strands, and then we're going to take the wide-eyed needle and place our thread in it. This one started to fray a little at the ends, but that's honestly no problem. So I'm just placing it at the bottom of the wide-eyed needle, and I'm going to just start by actually threading a strand of the seed beads. So I've pre-mixed my 3 colours. You can use any colours you like for this project, and we also do the Regaliz ends in silver. So you're literally just going to start by threading the first strand of seed beads. These can be as long as you want, but you may need to add more beads than what's written in the jewellery guide. So the length of the tassels determined by you. I'm going to make these about 15 centimetres long. I'm threading them randomly because you get this very nice effect of them all contrasting when they're sat next to each other, and it adds to the depth of the tassels, like this one. As I've already made one of the tassels, I'm using that now so I can make the second tassel of similar length. Now I'm not being too precise because they are going to be a tassel, so it doesn't have to be exact, but I do want them reasonably similar lengths, but I'm not counting the beads as I'm putting them on. So I've got the required length for my tassel and the last bead's gone on. At this point, we're now going to move the last bead that went on, and we're going to move it to the side. And you're going to take your beading needle and you're going to go up through the first 5 seed beads. So I've threaded through the first 5 but missed out the first one, and then I'm going to bring my cord up towards the other beads. So this is going to finish this end. I then want to make a knot, so I'm going to just create a little loop at this section, and then I'm going to take the needle back through, so through the loop, and I'm going to pull that nice and tight, so creating a knot around this section. I'm then going to take the needle back up through the next 5 beads from where I did the knot. Just make sure your needle definitely goes through them, and then pull that tight. So we've got our first knot here, and I'm going to do a second knot as well. Allow more thread if you want the tassels longer, because you do need the extra for the knotting bit at the end. Going back through and pull that knot in, and then to finish that strand I'm just going to go back up through the next 5 and out, and rather than place a knot here, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to remove that excess thread now. So I'm just going to cut that away. Okay. So that's the first one, and I'm going to repeat that with the other 9 strands that we have here as well to finish the tassel. As you know, we've already done one side of the tassel, so this is the pre-done one, so that's the 10 altogether and the Regaliz end. So the next part of your project is to take the leather straps and you're going to glue the clasp onto your Regaliz ends. So you want to take your Fevikwik glue. This one is brand new, so I'm just going to tighten the cap so that it releases the glue from inside, and then we can take that off. And I'm just going to place a small amount, and you really don't need to be excessive with this glue, it's very strong. So I'm just going to put a small amount of glue inside, and then I'm going to attach the ends on here. And the same on the next piece of leather. Recap the glue. And you're going to allow them to dry. It should take about 10 minutes for them to set fully. Once they're dry, you want to put the clasp together, and you're going to measure the clasp from the back of your neck, and you want to bring the leather round to the front, and you're going to be about midway across your collarbone. You don't want the leather touching in the centre because the tassels need to sit separately apart. So I've actually pre-measured this one for this occasion, so I know that this is what I need to take off on this side. So I'm just going to pop that to one side for a moment. I've kept my piece from the first one so I can measure it exactly, so I know they're going to match. And then I'm going to use the Regaliz leather cutter to go across I mean, these are fantastic tools, they work really well, so you don't have to put very much effort into cutting through the thick leather. So now what we have is my two ends together. So this is going to be the back of the necklace and then the front section here. And I know it looks very small, but that's because they're not going to be joining at the front of the neck. Firstly, before adding the tassel, I'm also going to put one of these pretty spiral effects on there, and that will sit at the front of the neck. So one of them on either side. And then we can use our Fevikwik glue again to secure the tassel. So I'm just going to uncap that again. Pop a small amount of glue. Like I say, it is very strong. You don't need to be too excessive, it just means you glue your fingers together. And we're going to pop the end into there. And I'm going to bring that towards the front. And the tassel is going to hang from this section here. And do the same on the opposite side when you've completed the tassel.